right? We not having that. We want to build a community, forever. Kids win, we win. Period.
Like it be feeling like when we take a week off, it'd be like a month.
It do.
What we on?
I don't know,
52,
but I
right?
got a PSA though. I got a PSA.
Okay,
Right.
my fault. We ain't got an announcement for y'all. Right off the bat. What you got, Wayne?
Got an announcement, and I think I'm talking for the whole tri-state and the Sixers nation. I brought your bag, Ben. Got your bags packed. Here. Get up out of here. You don't want to be here? We don't want you here. I'm speaking for the Sixers Foundation, Sixers Nation, and the whole tri-state. Bye. Peace. But please, though, do me a favor, though.
You could do a whole show on Ben Simmons.
Do me a favor. Bring him over here, though. Bring him. Because we need a point guard.
Ooh.
All right? We don't need a 6'9" power forward or whatever you are, because you're not a point guard. But here your bag. Peace out, bro.
You done? You done with him?
Yeah,
You
I dropped your bag.
You 100% done with him.
That's what episode we on. That's the type of time I'm on.
You know what? You know me. I will always love going back and forth with you. I can't even say anything back to you right now, man. It's just.
He got a nerve to be talking about he don't want to play the game. What? You got a nerve, boy.
It's a different generation, bro. It's a different generation, man. But yeah, Wayne said it. Wayne said it. I want to say episode 52, I think. Welcome everybody, A.M.University, episode 52. Good to be back. Wayne, other than that, are you okay? Because I could tell you was about to get red in the face. You look like you was about to go another route, but Ben Simmons will do that to you.
Yeah, man.
Ben Simmons will do that to you. It'll really get everything bubbling. But again, like you said, we gotta have a whole show on that. Tim, how you say it?
Collura.
I don't want to get it wrong. Tim Collura. What? This will be your third year at Pemberton High School, right? Going into it.
Yep.
Third year. How you been, brother?
Good.
Huh?
Can't complain.
I know it's September. You know, it's always that antsy time as a high school basketball coach. You see the football season coming along, and you're like, it's getting closer and closer, and you just can't wait, man. How you feel about the upcoming season?
Yeah, as you know, I feel like it's about to be here tomorrow, but it's like you start feeling like when's it gonna happen? But I don't know. Good, excited.
Yeah.
Guys are kind of on autopilot. We do a lot of stuff in the off season, so they do a lot of stuff together. So
it's a beautiful time for high school basketball coaches, man. I feel like Christmas is coming. Every day you wake up, you get a day closer. But I brought you on here because I had a great conversation with you about something that, again, it kind of alludes back to what Del Greco was talking about briefly when he was last on the show. But let's just start here and we'll just ad-lib off of that. Why isn't high school coaches more involved? I don't even want to limit it to just academics. To me, it feels like they're not involved in any process in totality. It's good high school coaches out there. But for the most part, they're not involved in any process outside of the actual game or the actual season. I'm talking about recruiting. I'm talking about AAU. I'm talking about academics. It seemed like everybody else in the world is the head of that, the snake of that, but the high school coaches. I got my own opinion on that. I want to hear y'all's first, and we'll just go from there. Why is that happening, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I don't know if it kind of happened intentionally. I think it is specific to basketball a little bit. With AAU, once that started to grow, I think that all of a sudden, it became a comfortable thing to just let the kids say, all right, well, your AAU is getting you the looks. So, when the season's done in the spring, kids go play AAU on their own. we don't want to force people to do things, and then that's up to the AAU coaches. And I think the more that the AAU has evolved and grown, it's kind of like there's this approach. And again, I'm not saying it's right, but I think it's become this, these separated things where the high school coaches become hands off, and then it's kind of like, well, if you didn't get an offer, that's because your AAU program or your AAU coach didn't really help you. We put you in the spots during the season, and it's just, on you. And I think, again, there's so many different things to say about this.
Go crazy, bro.
For me at least, I could say when the season ends, I have an approach to these things, and it's that, really, I think, you have relationships with your players. And so as a mentor, as a coach for my players, I want to help them through all the processes. So we start with just the end of the season. I give them a printed up list of AAU programs. Camden Elite will be on there this year. And, I just say, hey, here's the tryout dates. Here's some information about them. And let me know which tryout you're going to go to, and I'll talk to those coaches. And that's just the beginning of the process. So, when they do that, depending, I won't force a guy, but if they have a conversation to say, there are better programs. So, like if a kid is going to go play in the Hoop Group Showcase League or have an opportunity or be in the EYBL, I'm going to say, hey, go there. But in terms of like the different tiers, I'm just going to give him the information and then follow up and say, where are you going to play? I'll probably talk to those coaches. All my players that play for AAU coaches, I know those AAU coaches have talked to them. So, throughout the season, I can be in touch with them and just, know what's kind of going on. It's not a controlling thing. It's more of an involvement thing.
You're actively involved. Why? And I'm saying this because people need to understand this. Why are you so actively involved outside of the high school basketball season? Because the whole is you don't have to be.
Yeah.
They're coming back to my high school. I'll coach them during the season, and then what they do that's not my concern.
Yeah, I think it just, a lot of times I hear a lot of complaints about, trainers. Oh, well, this trainer tells the kid this, or, this AAU coach says this. And my thing is that if there are any coaches that have disagreements to those things, the easiest way to fix that is get involved. So, I want to be involved to help, my kids, because also there's not really benefit for me. It does, indirectly help me, but at the same time, those kids are going to go on, they're going to graduate, they're going to be beyond, and, I want to help them get the best situation they can. And so, I think just that my understanding or I really value the position that I got. I really hold that so strongly. I can't say it enough. We had our one player got recognized by our board, and when I was talking to them, I told them, I remember the exact moment I got the job. AD took me out to eat. We sat there, we're talking, and it was, I was switching within a conference too. He was hesitant. He said, we really didn't want to actually even bring you in on the interview, but then when we did, we had to offer it to you. And I'll never forget. I remember the weight of it. I was like, I felt like I hit the lottery, and because I have an opportunity to impact kids' lives for forever, and that's something that, again, I remember everything. I remember. I was having a rodeo burger. I remember every detail. That's one thing with being a coach, especially in games. I remember so much about players and plays and things. But, I really don't take that lightly. So I guess just my understanding of the impact I can have, it doesn't allow me to ever disconnect.
Well, I agree with everything. And I appreciate you remembering everything about your coaching, because
100%.
we need coaches that really love what their position is and respect it. But for the question, I blame the players, because the recruiting and all that, they gonna go where the players is going, and the tradition stopped with trying to make your high school the best high school in your area and be the best in the nation as a high school, and it's starting to go to having the best AAU team or going to the best AAU circuits or whatever. If they bring it back to just, let me make my high school the best high school in the whole America, let me make my high school number one, then the recruiting and everything going to come back to high school games and everything. And I think that's why coaches try to go overboard sometime, where after the season is over and try to still remain connected to the players, because they trying to get that tradition back into high school, take high school serious, and then everything else is just extra. Because AAU, when they first came out, that was just extra to do. That was something to do in the
Definitely when we was in
summertime,
high
and it
school.
just happened to be everybody that was good happened to be there too.
So let me ask you this, because I agree with you, but in rebuttal, is it a 15-year-old kid's responsibility to have that type of
Yeah,
mindset?
because he the one saying, "Mom, I want to play for them. Mom, I want to do this."
But he don't know though. He know that AAU program is very shiny,
Yeah.
and they on their Instagram, it looks like they're having a blast, and they at Peach Jam, and they doing this and that and that and that, and that's what I want to see. A high school program, the same thing.
Well, let's put it in reality then, right? You said 15 years old, so that take you back to 2006, 2005, 2006. Actually, it was still going on. Like AAU was still the secondary stuff. So I'm trying to figure out where they grew up at, where somebody told them, "Yo, AAU is where's it at?" They know where the beat came from the high school. They know where all these NBA players got their status from. Well, not now, but you know, Carmelo and Dwayne Wade back.
Yeah, but you
It was
keep
their
going.
high
You keep,
school.
but you're going back though. This is a social media driven era, and what I mean by that is social media is teaching our kids.
But I think that's not true. Like I just put, you 15, you was born in 2005. So like whoever was your old heads, they came up in that era behind you. So they the ones that's telling you like, yo,
What I'm-
this high school, Pemberton, let's just say Pemberton, we was always good. We always used to beat such and such and such and such.
What I'm getting at though is not enough people saying, articulating what he just said as a coach or as a mentor or as a parent. It's not enough people that's that engaged. When the season is over for a lot of high school coaches, it is over.
I mean,
And now now Instagram leads your life.
that's
And
why I think Tim about taking,
Yeah.
appreciating his job and respecting it, because the coaches that do that, y'all crazy. But
and
you know,
that's most. Go ahead. You got
So,
something to add on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say like, so then my thing is that like, what about if a kid wants to go to a better AU program, right? But he's not really ever gonna play.
I was going to say that next. Go ahead.
So like I had a player that was like, all right, you know what? I want to go play for this AU program, and he was going to play on a this was a couple years ago, a lesser team,
B level.
and actually on the B team. And he was like, why am I going to go play on the B team? And I was like, well, listen, if you do that, like they already said, and again, this is, there's so many conversations that a 16, 17-year-old kid is not really going to have with a grown adult that's running a program or
Correct.
a coach.
Correct.
So, or a person in the community that is starting their own thing.
Correct.
So me as an adult, I can step in and get the information, the facts, and convey to him. Well, listen, it's your choice, but here, if you play for the B team, they told me if you do really well, you may move up to the A team. Now, mind you, this team plays in the HGSL. They're going to be at all the hoop group stuff, all the biggest things. So you're going to play in the big events, and there's going to be schools there. So if schools are coming to go check out that team, they're going to see you, even if you're actually on the B team, because you're still in the same event. And so by the end of the season, maybe, and they even said he'll practice with the A team. Well, there were like 5, 6 Division I kids on the A team. Didn't play with that team, but he could have practiced all spring with all these Division I kids and got better developed and maybe got better looks than the team he went to, which he ended up moving to another team.
He would have never knew that if he didn't tell him, though. A 15-year-old kid wouldn't ever think about the things that he just said. So again, I agree with you, but I think it's like a little caveat. I just don't think the OGs is doing their part in this day and age. Which brings me to my next question, and I love to hear what you guys think about this, because I'm really passionate about what I'm about to say. I think most coaches, the majority of coaches, don't care about kids at all. Or again, I grew up, I've been coaching 10 years in New Jersey. I could just talk about New Jersey. From what I've seen in New Jersey overall, I think most coaches are using kids as a scapegoat for their own initiative, whatever it is. Because if you think about it, saying it's all about the kids, it's all about the kids, it's all about the kids, it's an easy way to get whatever you want to get across, in my opinion. What do y'all think about that? I don't even know how to phrase it, but I know what I've seen time and time and time and time again. And I see too many coaches go straight home after practice. I see too many coaches, when the season is over, won't talk to their kids at all in the off season. I see too many coaches that a kid graduate, it's over. You'll never hear from this high school coach again in life. I just want to hear y'all opinion on that. And we'll go from there.
I mean,
I
yeah.
go for it. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
All right, I'll go. So, I mean, you know, I know a ton of great coaches. I know a lot of guys that really, you know, you could tell they care about their kids. I think you could tell from the relationships. I mean, it's just all, for me, it's all about relationships. Like, you know, I think that, you know, like we have such a responsibility, and not that I want to go back to it, but, you know, when I have a player, like I had a football kid that played 1 year for me, my first year, and at Pemberton, and like he you know, he's a football player, went to go play football in college, and I had seen on social media, you know, something happened while he was at school, and you know, I reached out and like we talked, and he was, you know, really put him in a better place, and you know, I think just that, again, it's just a relationship that you have, you know, that connection forever. And I've seen so many, even myself, like all your teammates that you grew up with, and you know, you're always connected once you play on a team with each other. And I think that as the coach, you're also connected to those guys. Like, it's not the easiest to keep track of everybody, but at the same time, it's not as difficult to, you know, just reach out when you see something, or, you know, guys like, and I guess it's just, it also comes back to a love for the game. Like I love the game. Like, I really do. Like,
that's there we go. I'm ready now. Look.
All right.
So
I got wings.
I think that question, you kind of like saying like a lot of people got other intentions other than just coaching the kids.
If it's not, let me even rephrase it. If it's not about me actually helping me as the coach win the game, I don't care about it. So if I gotta check on your academics in order for you to play and me win the game, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
If I gotta call you to check if your concussion is fine because you're gonna play later, I'm gonna call you on how you feeling.
Okay.
As long as it's conducive to me winning the game, it matters.
Oh no, that's not what I was gonna go at. But if that's the question, then that's just, if it's coaches that exist like that, it's crazy. Like I think that's not coaching. That's kind of like, that's AAU. You feel me? That's not a high school coach, because high school coach is more intimate. You know what I mean? Because
that's a great point. It should be.
You know, but what I was gonna say is like, you can't never judge a coach's inspiration of being to be a coach. Whatever inspires him to be a coach, we gotta let that slide, because some coaches got different aspirations to being a coach. You know, and we can't judge them by whatever that is. But if they're a good coach at the end of the day, let's just judge them by that. Let's not judge them by the inspiration. That's where I thought that question was going. Because like, for example, like I'm gonna be the scapegoat. If I get Camden High coaching job, yes, I'm gonna take it personal for things that I didn't accomplish in high school. Yes, I am. Like my driven for wanting to be Camden High coach is to.
I'm glad you said that.
To accomplish it through these young kids that I end up getting dealt if I get that job, and that's my aspirations. Like, yes.
So okay, go ahead. You go first. Yeah, because I got some after that.
I didn't grow up wanting to be a coach. I grew up wanting to be a player.
Do you think you're going to have players that go through, that finish through your program and go nowhere?
Yes.
Will you have helped them though?
Oh, definitely. They'd definitely be ready for the world. They'd be ready for that to happen, as a matter of fact. So I worded that wrong. Yes, I will have kids that will not go D1, D2, D3, or will not even play basketball again after high school.
Yep.
But they will not be a senior in high school after the year they graduated. They would be a 18, 19-year-old woman or man.
Yep.
Going throughout.
Because you prepared them and you were honest with them.
Yes.
And that's what
I'm always going to keep it on.
That's what I think that, and even kind of go back to the first question, like, I think that the more knowledge coaches have, so I'll give an example. Like, I had a kid that played my first year. You know, he didn't score 1,000 points. You know, we were 5-21, a lot of close games, 5-21, and didn't really decide he wanted to play in college until like March, no, maybe April, and talked to me and said, you know what, I do, coach, I do want to play. And he's playing at Ramapo now. He immediately he was going into play. Now you may make fun of Ramapo.
No, he's not laughing as a negative
I've never been
at all.
Ramapo as a collegiate athlete.
It's Jack, boy.
So he's playing D3 basketball from our team with barely any wins. He didn't have any accolades. How does that happen? Because, and that's really why I got involved with AAU to learn the process. Like I've always just been interested in learning. Like people ask, like, You know, like I can teach math. I'm a math teacher. I can
Mm-hmm.
also teach Spanish. I can teach ESL. Like I just always did these things to just really learn, and I apply it with everything. So, you know, I piggybacked onto a program just to help out, training, stuff like that, to learn the whole process. So I know that October 1st, every kid in the country, their parents can fill out their FAFSA. Like, you better believe all my seniors, they're going to be October 1st, their parents are filling out the FAFSA. So that when we put in the application, so they already have a list, and they have actually, like, we can bring it up. I have an Excel I just sent to a kid actually earlier today that has his 10 to 12 target schools. There's links, the programs they offer, the cost, the financial aid, the scholarship thing. He's just got to click on them. He's going to apply, and then if I go to a coach in the spring and say, hey, look, here's this kid's highlights. He got into your school. He's already got X amount of money. You know, he wants to play for your basketball team. What's the coach going to say? He's going to say, yeah.
I walk him on.
He's like, all right, I'll get him on. So, I mean, now we've like, when you learn the process, like, there are guys, high-level guys, it's all taken care of. Or even Division II guys. There's a process to it.
For the most of the world.
Like, those guys had went on visits. I had one of my players, we went on a visit this summer to a place, and, you know, he's going to get offered Division II and stuff. But there's still other things that we're going to put in place so that if all the other stuff doesn't work out, he's going to have a spot. And it's going to be a spot, though, that it's going to have a degree that he wants to get. He's going to have choices, because the guy that went last minute to Ramapo, he had to pay a little more than if he had applied in the fall. And, you know, and again, I got the job late. I didn't know what I had, and we didn't start the process till after. So, you know, I just think there are things you can do and you can educate the kids on, because there's so many kids, and that's really where my inspiration comes from. Like, I see Burlington and Camden County, but a lot in Burlington County because I'm mainly there. So many kids that have gone through, or guys that now you see going around, you're like, had tons of talent, like could have went somewhere and got a degree. Because again, that's the goal. Like, not everyone's going to go from beyond there, but at the same time, if you can get a degree and minimize that debt and come out and start your life with, you know, in a good position, like that's all, you know, I want to do.
Let me ask y'all this. You kind of alluded to your answer already, but I still want to hear what both of y'all think. Is being a head coach, because you said it's a aspiration, right? Is it tied to something you want to do emotionally? No, I'll rephrase it. What's the driving force of you being a head coach? The driving force, the tippity top of what's the driving force, and I want you to answer the same thing. Be honest, honestly.
My driving force would be, I always look at myself as a leader, and I think being a head coach at Camden High, specifically Camden High basketball, that's a way to be able to call myself a leader of men. At some point in my life, I was a documented leader of men in the city of Camden at a point of time.
Do you feel like it has anything to do that's something that you left unturned at Camden as a player?
Yes, but the tippity top is
because before y'all go on, I'll give you an example with me, right? I've been coaching in high school for 10 years, right? I might have went on 37 job interviews, literally in those 10 years, and the responses that they gave me was a joke. I mean, it was like really laughable at times, the reason they told me I didn't get the job. So my initial thought process, and I screenshotted every rejection letter I got, and initially I wanted to prove all those people wrong. And it started in this city, us growing up in Camden. It was a time, that's all I cared about, was proving people in Camden wrong as a coach. And then it transpired to South Jersey and wherever else I applied, right? But then a light bulb went off, like, do they really matter? Any of these people over these kids' lives that I'm changing, right? I'm the most competitive person ever as far as winning, right? But at the end of the day, how much do that matter as opposed to a kid coming to you 4 years later and saying, Coach, I got it now. You changed my life. When that first happened to me, everything that I wanted to do, every goal that I wanted to reach, every person that I wanted to prove wrong, I didn't care anymore. All I cared about was the moment and being with those kids and changing, making any change that I could. And I'm saying that because, and I'm not talking about you specifically, but I think a lot of coaches, again, are portraying to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I care about the kids. I want to change their lives. But really, they trying to get to Duke. They trying to get to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to get to in the newspaper. Like it's really coaches that's trying to. It's coaches that just want to go to Rutgers. Like, and I want to just be in the spotlight. Like, that's a real thing. So again, I'll ask y'all the same thing. Why are y'all coaching at the core?
I mean, I would almost say for me, it's really just to educate. And what I mean is that like probably covers everything, like teaching kids how to, you know, prepare themselves for the next step, and you know, because then that is how you really change a community. And I think that for me, like, just, you know, being a mentor and just, you know, like so many different conversations I've had with guys. Like I had a guy I would, you know, maybe shouldn't say it on camera, but how to get him to AAU practice, things like that. And like those drives was like, we started talking about renting versus buying a house and things like that. And it's like, those are things that he's going to take on. He's like, oh, I mean, it makes more sense to buy a house and things like there's just, you know, a way you can influence kids to just inspire them and let them go. And like, you know, those for me, that's really what it's about. I mean, I think there are other motivations, of course. Every coach is going to say, like, they want to get to Rutgers. Like, you got to want to win. You have to be a super competitive person.
100%.
Like
100%.
I think even myself, like,
hope people don't misunderstand me when I'm saying
like,
that. That's not what I'm saying.
Especially even sometimes for my players, like I'm a really calm person. Like I'm a laid back person, but like I hate to lose. Like I hate to lose. I mean, it could be anything. I'll never forget it. Like I have maybe a group of friends. We're so competitive. Whatever it is, they'll bring it back up. Like, I beat you in this, and I'm like it bothers me. So it's just that's a motivation thing too.
Yeah.
Like again, like every loss that I've had, I'll remember. Like I really will remember. I'll remember exactly. I'll try to take a lesson out of it and learn from it. But yeah, like there's other motivations. But I think in the core, I really want kids to learn just how to achieve the goals that they want. And that's a big part for me. Is like whatever they want to do. And that's why I think being realistic with a player, like. You're a D3 or hey man, listen, like I can't get you to a school because X, Y, and Z. Like, you know, there is a ceiling for everybody, and just whatever that level is, and that's what I just want to provide all the things so that none of the kids really that I say could go on and be like, you know what, I just didn't have the opportunity.
Let me ask y'all this. Start with you, Wayne. Do you believe in full transparency with a kid? Well, I need to give an example.
Nah, I like that question right there. No,
Explain.
I don't believe in that. You ain't gotta give them everything. You don't gotta give them everything. Some kids, like you say, they can't handle everything. It's certain times where you can, but it's certain times, like if you talking to me as Coach Smalls, and I got a freshman that I think that basketball might not even be his sport. He might be in the wrong sport, but he getting pushed by his mom and dad. I'm not going to tell him, like, I don't think basketball for you. I'm gonna coach him and see what's up. But then it might become to a ceiling, like he said, where I might have to say, come here, man. I mean, I heard you like football. I think you wanna do something with football after high school. Yeah, okay. Well, I think
so. You would still give him an opportunity.
Yeah, I give it to him. But I'm not in my back of my mind. I already know. You know, when you say full transparency, that means when I seen it at tryouts.
So not saying I agree or disagree, but I'm asking you another question. Why are you prolonging the inevitable if you already know?
Because, man, you never know. Life is like a box of chocolates.
You know right now.
I think I know. You know, time can change. Basketball, like, who was it? Serge Ibaka? A couple people didn't play basketball until 11th grade in the NBA. You know, you never know. You can. In the middle of high school season, you can grow 6 more inches. I think I got something, Dwight Cass. Went from the volleyball team to our starting center.
What you think, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. Like, it's just a case by case thing. So I think you have to be honest with the kid to an extent. So like, honestly, you know, like, I don't know. So in your case, will you cut? If you're Cam and I coach tomorrow, are you making cuts?
Tomorrow? No, I'm giving them at least a week.
So no, but you're cutting people though, right?
Oh, that's the first day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got to limit it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
To-
I mean, you're being, realistic with them and letting them go. I mean, I guess.
I mean,
I'll answer
But-
for all of y'all. I'm 100% transparent.
So-
I
so-
don't
so
care.
you-
I don't
you
care
cut
any,
first day, or-
I don't care any atmosphere.
You cut first
I think
day?
the difference with me with some coaches is I'll explain to them why you're just not you can't cut the mustard right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is A, B, C, and D that you need to do next year, between now and next year, in order to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
Right now you can't play.
So you're not carrying nobody on your team just for a roster spot, just to see what's going to
Phil
happen?
Colicchio, he's at Elizabeth now. He was at Linden for years. He won 5 state championships. He told me one time, he said, I'll never forget this. He said, when you pick a roster, we got 12 kids, right? 12, 15, one of them.
Let's just say 15.
I mean, we got high school. Yeah, let's say 15. He said, when you make your cuts, do you pick the best 15 kids in the school? I immediately said yes.
Okay.
He said, why? And I had an answer. He was like, how many kids is going to play for you in that year? All 15 of those kids is going to play? You might play 10 max. So what is those other 5 kids going to think that made the team? Do they even know their role? They're going to want to play. So what's that's going to bring? Animosity. It's going to bring all these other things. I'm better than him. Why he playing in front of me? They're not going to
like
be
a high school team though.
They're not going to be
I like
team,
it.
but they're not going to be.
I like it.
They're not going to be team players. They don't know their role. Those other 5 kids.
Right.
That-
Not
that-
on your team, they don't know that. On majority
brings-
coaches,
but-
that will happen. But I'm sure on your team,
But
you have to-
I picked the best 15 kids. They're a notch below the starters
people I
and
got
the
up there.
rotation. So if you're a notch below, as a 16-year-old kid, you're gonna think I could play. Why I'm not playing? You don't know your role, but you're not going to play. So you don't know your role. So you don't understand what your role is. Your role might be to cheer on the side. Your role might be a practice player. Your role might be to get water. Your role might be the guy that we using as a decoy on defense and practice. Whatever the case may be.
and you thinking you should be playing.
Right.
A lot of kids won't be able to do that, but I'm still taking them the top kids in the school though. I'm not giving myself a disadvantage by worrying about egos down the side of the bench. But
to me it messes up the continuity of what you're doing, though, right?
You know,
if you gotta go,
every
if you gotta go
practice gonna be a
10, if you gotta go first of all, if you gotta go 15 people into your season, you're done.
I know that's
You're not going.
ridiculous.
Your season is shot if you got to get into the double digits in your season, right? So the point being is, what I'm saying, and what Phil Colicchio was trying to say is, those guys fit a role, and they need to know that role. Period. And it's not playing. And I made that mistake once.
So Coach Phil saying, don't pick the top 15. Pick some.
No,
Pick some players
pick guys that understand they
their
might
role.
not ever play this year,
Okay.
and you need to support your teammates.
I think that's advanced tips and tricks. I think that's like the advanced top of the line coaches.
I mean, you can say that.
Give me them 15. Give me them 15 bad boys.
But I think what you're saying, though, it does come back to relationship. Like, if you're open with those kids and have a relationship, like, I've carried extra guys and sat them down as soon as tryouts and said, look, if you want to play, I'm telling you right now, like, you're not really going to play much. Like, you're going to have to come.
I never leave kids to assume.
Like,
not one.
Yeah. And I'll say, you're not really going to play much at all. And you're going to have to practice a lot. You're going to have to do everything everybody else does. But I just know that you're not really going to fit that much and get much time. You have to be okay with that if you're going to really play. So make sure if you're coming, tomorrow, like, that's something you want to do. If you like, you're going to be on the team, if that's okay with you. Like, what do you think? And then let them think about it, tell me. And I think that is just with the openness and the relationship of, regardless, because I've kept extra guys. I mean, I kept guys who never played basketball before, and he scored a bucket. He played like maybe 2 games all year. But he loved
that
it.
bucket.
And everybody hated practicing against him.
Yeah.
Hard.
I've never,
Hard.
and this is for you. You ever get into the coaching world? This is just from my experience. I've never ended on bad terms with being honest.
Okay.
A kid might be mad at me at the time. He might be mad at me for a week. He might be mad at me for a year. But every single time that 2 years down the
reality
road,
set in.
I see that kid walking down the street, I get the biggest hug ever. Because they knew. They knew.
That's real.
They knew. And I could sleep with that at night, knowing that I told the truth. and I always say this as well. Take what I'm saying and get upset about what I'm saying.
And get better.
And get better. Who can get upset with that?
Ben Simmons. Fuck, who does that?
That's the thing.
Get the
That's the
fuck
only
outta
person.
here,
That's the
bro.
only person you could have said. You're absolutely right.
Like, get out of
That's
here.
the
yo.
only person. you
But John
coulda
Wall,
said.
when you come here, bring your Achilles, bring your knees, and stay away from that girl, Lovely Leash on Instagram, yo.
Oh.
She's bad. out
Let's
there.
end with this.
She bad.
What you guys think the head
Shout out to
coaches?
Lovely Leash.
What you guys think the head coach's job in 2020? Because it's totally different than when we grew up.
I mean, I think just prepare their players for the next chapter, whatever that is, next level they go to. It could be playing, it could be working, it could be any whatever it is. And I think amongst that, again, like we're not saying you ignore the season, like that's a given. Every coach is going to do that. Every coach is going to get their kids to the try to get them in the, hopefully the showcases and highlight them and do all that stuff. But like beyond that, you have to give them the support and just the tools so that when they go on, it's not looking back like because again, you're never going to forget your teams. You don't forget the guys you play with. You don't forget all those memories. Like we all wish we could get it back. Like like that. That's just you always remember. And so creating that just that team mentality and also preparing them is just a combination for me.
I like it. I'm rolling with that. I like it.
There we go. And I wanted to say on camera before we close out, again, I know this is only your third year you're in. You're doing an amazing job at Pemberton, man. And I know you're going to continue to get better. It was what you had them 2 weeks into the year when we scrimmaged y'all at West Tech, and I would lie to you not. They look totally different than that 1-27 team the year prior, whoever they was. Like that fast, and I was like, you know what? He was the right man for the job. So, what you doing is great. It's making basketball better. What I feel overall, just we this whole conversation that you had, I think this is my experience. You got a different experience. You got a different experience. We need more coaches like that, right? We need more competitive coaches. We need more coaches that care. High school coaches they should be the foundation of these kids' lives.
Correct.
We see them way too much. Like, it shouldn't be the way that it is, right? And I think people like you is pushing that narrative forward, and I want to say that on air. We appreciate you, man.
No, thank you. Thanks
We
for having
appreciate
me.
you.
I learned from a lot of coaches, worked with a lot of good ones, and just trying to keep it going.
Who's your favorite coach right
Let's
now
go.
in college basketball?
That's a good question.
Ooh,
That's a real good
college
question.
basketball.
Mine, Tom Izzo.
Y'all know
Hands
not to
down.
ask me that. Mine's is very simple.
You say yours is Tom Izzo?
Tom Izzo.
Tom is close for me. But
Yeah.
it's Jay Wright. It's not
Okay.
Even, not,
Yeah,
It's not even a
yeah.
question.
That for me, it
Jay
literally
Wright?
is between the two.
Jay Wright or who?
I might go Tom Izzo though,
Okay, thank you.
because Tom Izzo is misinterpreted, so I like that
Oh,
more.
that's why I like it.
That's why I like that more.
Why you like him?
Misinterpreted, misunderstood.
Mhm.
You know, everything that you see.
That makes sense.
Yours truly.
Wayne, any closing words about the Sixers one more time?
Ben Simmons. Bye-bye. Peace. Wish you nothing but the best, though. But I'm telling you, don't put another jersey on. We don't care. Just get up out of here, though. Please, get up out of here.